Today on Retiring Well with Centennial Wealth Advisory, we'll explain portfolio efficiency ratio and how it works.
That one ratio, just one number, has the potential to tell you whether or not you will either succeed or fail in your retirement.
Coming up, we'll compare two portfolios with almost identical average rates of return, but with different portfolio efficiency ratios leading to surprisingly different outcomes.
They both average about 5.66, 5.67%. One would naturally imagine that if you're earning the same rate of return, you should get the same outcome. You're going to find pretty quickly that that is not the case.
All this and more on Retiring Well with Centennial Wealth Advisory, starting right now.
Retiring Well with Centennial Wealth Advisory, helping you make smart decisions with your money so you can live a better life. Today is the day you can take back control of your money. Retiring Well with Centennial Wealth Advisory, where we believe your best is yet to come.
Welcome to Retiring Well. I'm your host, Michael Reese. I'm really excited about this week's show. We are going to dive into something known as your PER, and that stands for your Portfolio Efficiency Ratio. And I know what you're thinking. You're sitting there saying, PER, Portfolio Efficiency Ratio? I've never heard of such a thing. Yeah, you probably haven't. But let me tell you this, that one ratio, just one number, has the potential to tell you whether or not you will either succeed or fail in your retirement. So is that a pretty important number? One that can maybe tell you, that has the potential to tell you whether or not you'll succeed or fail? I think it is. And guess what? Once you know a little more, I know you will too. Now, before we do that, I want to take a quick moment and share with you why we do this show every week. You see, I have found that the financial media as a whole is really good at one thing. They're really good at sharing ideas with how to grow and accumulate a portfolio. In other words, if you're 20 years old or 30 years old or 40 years old and you're trying to grow a portfolio, you're trying to grow your nest egg, they give you all kinds of good ideas. But what are they not good at? They're not good at giving you any kind of messages that make sense once you've hit the stage of financial security. I mean, let's imagine that you're only a few years away from retirement, or maybe you're already retired. You've already done a good job saving up a portfolio or saving up a nest egg. You've done a good job growing and accumulating. You've reached the stage of financial security. Now what do? How do you protect your nest egg? How do you maybe take some income? And how do you still grow it while doing those two things? That, my friends, is a very different ball game. Takes very different investment strategies than just growing and accumulating. Growing and accumulating, that's the child's play. Protecting what you've built, taking some income and growing it, that's when the big boys step in. And that's what this show's all about. All right, let's dive into your PER. What is your portfolio efficiency ratio? At its core, what it really does is it measures how effectively you earn returns for the risk you take. And the best way to describe how it works is to use an example. So throughout this show, I'm going to give you two portfolios and we're going to compare them. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. Let's imagine that you were in a 401k and you've got two choices, two mutual funds you can select from. So we'll simplify. I know you get lots of choices, but let's imagine all you have are two. The first one, we'll call it Mutual Fund A. From 2000 to 2015, it averaged 5.67%. Then you have Mutual Fund B. Over the same time period, it averaged 5.66%. 5.67, 5.66, which one do you choose? Well, if that's all the information you have, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, who cares? It's basically the same. Let's give you a little bit more information. Mutual Fund A, that's the Vanguard S&P 500. Mutual Fund B, somebody you never heard of. Now which one are you choosing? Well, I'm sure if you're like most people, you're saying, well, I'll take Vanguard then. I've heard they are very inexpensive. I've heard there are really good things about them. And you know what? You'd be right. I'd make the same choice. But now we're going to throw in a third piece of information. The PER of the Vanguard Mutual Fund is 0.29. Meanwhile, the PER of this one you've never heard of is 0.91. Let's say I then told you higher PER is better. Now where are you putting your money? In Vanguard with a low PER or the other with a higher PER? I would argue it probably all depends on how well you understand what your portfolio efficiency ratio is and how it really works. If you really understand it, it'll help you make a smart decision. Don't go away. Coming up, we're going to be diving right into it.
Have you called us yet to meet with our team? Let us help you with your retirement planning. Today is a great day to take the first step. Call us now at 512-265-5000.
Hi, it's Mike again, and I would like to personally invite you to one of our free upcoming dinner seminars where I'm going to talk about a number of essential strategies for your retirement success. We're going to talk about some of the biggest decisions you're going to need to make and how to make the right decisions. We're going to talk about things like portfolio management. Do you want to have a portfolio that has lots of ups and downs or one that's more steady Eddie? We'll even talk about taxes, and I'll even uncover some of the hidden secrets of the financial industry that I promise you they don't want you to know about. All you need to do to attend, it's really simple. Just call the number on the screen. So go ahead and call it now. Leave your information. It's a recorded line, and we will call you back, get all the details. I'm looking forward to seeing you at our next event.
Essential financial strategies for a comfortable retirement. Join the Centennial Wealth Advisory team for an informative and exciting presentation with complimentary gourmet dinner and learn how to protect your assets from market volatility, how to find growth and security in today's volatile market, how to prevent outliving your money, how decisions in Washington, D.C. are affecting your retirement, how to safeguard your assets from unnecessary taxation, the 4 ways to make sure your advisor is giving you expert advice, and much more. Choose the date and location that works best for you. Tuesday, May 3rd or Thursday, May 5th at Cafe Blue in the Hill Country Galleria. Tuesday, May 24th or Thursday, May 26th at Gumbo's North in Georgetown. Tuesday, June 14th or Thursday, June 16th at Trulux in the Arboretum. Presentations start at 6:30 p.m. and are free to attend with a complimentary gourmet dinner to follow. But seating is limited and fills quickly. Call 512-265-5000 or visit send-wealth.com/events to reserve your seats today. There is no cost and no obligation. Don't miss this important presentation, Essential Financial Strategies for a Comfortable Retirement. Call 512-265-5000 today.
Welcome back. This week we're talking about your PER. What is a performance efficiency ratio? Why do we care? And as I mentioned in the first segment, it really is nothing more than a measurement that measures how efficiently your portfolio is at earning returns for the risk you take. So I told you we would use 2 portfolios, compare 2 portfolios, one from Vanguard, which is essentially the S&P 500 with a PER of 0.29, and one from, well, let's be honest, somebody you've never heard of, and it has a PER of 0.91. Well, here's the Vanguard S&P 500. In our first example that we're going to cover in this segment, we're going to look at how well these 2 portfolios grow over time. if you think about it, they both average about 5.66, 5.67%. One would naturally imagine that if you're earning the same rate of return, you should get the same outcome at the end of the day, assuming you're not putting money in or taking money out. Well, you're going to find pretty quickly that that is not the case. So here we go. We start with the Vanguard S&P 500, which is essentially the cheap way to go. Vanguard, really good mutual fund family. This is their return stream since 2000. And if we add it all up, there's some pluses, there's some minuses, we end up with about 5.67%. Now, I don't know if you know a lot about how the S&P 500 works, but generally speaking, that's a stock market. When it's going good, it goes really good. When it's going not so good, it's usually going really not so good. And you can see that in the good years, you might get 20, 30%. In the down years, maybe down 20, down 30%. But overall, it kind of averages out to about 5.67. And if you do the math, you start with $1 million. At the end of, by the end of 2015, and this is assuming the money was in there January 1st, 2000, you end up with 1.8 million, right? So you started $1 million, you end at 1.8 million. Not so bad when all is said and done, if you think about it, right? I don't think that's a bad thing at all. Well, now what we want to do is we want to compare that to the other approach, where now we're earning 5.66%, but much higher portfolio efficiency ratio. So if we go ahead and take a look at that, here's what we find. Notice that at the end of the day, it's about 5.66. So essentially the same average rate of return. But notice how the return stream goes. The up years, not so big, 10, 15%. The down years, well, there aren't a lot, and they're not very big either, are they? They're -2, -3. There's one that's -5. At the end of the day, though, look at that bottom right-hand number, 2.355 million. We are talking over $500,000 more. $500,000. Isn't that amazing? Same rate of return, $500,000 more money. How does that happen? How does that happen? Well, here's how it happens. You ever hear that old Aesop's fable, the tortoise and the hare, right? The hare, it goes in spurts and then it rests, and the tortoise just plods along. And it turns out the same holds true in investing. If you can be consistent, if you can hit singles and doubles, as it were, it beats home runs and striking out. The big reason is this. When you lose money, you need more to make up the loss. If you're down 20%, you need 25% to make up for that loss. If you're down 30%, you need 43% to make up for that loss. You need bigger gains to make up for losses. When you start adding that to a portfolio and how your money grows, that can have an enormous impact. Just a few bad years can kill you. At the end of the day, think about it this way. If you're going to average 5.67%, do you want to risk 5% of your money to get to that outcome? Or do you want to risk 37% to get to that outcome? Slow and steady wins the game every time.
Have you called us yet to meet with our team? Let us help you with your retirement planning. Today is a great day to take the first step. Call us now at 512-265-5000.
Your grandchildren are precious to you. They are your life. This is your time to have that special relationship. Taking care of yourself is taking care of them. Centennial Wealth Advisory is offering a free, no-obligation retirement review to make sure you don't run out of money during your retirement. Centennial Wealth Advisory. Your best is yet to come.
Let's talk about the diversity of your retirement portfolio.
Nowadays, you always hear you need to be diversified. But what does it mean to be diversified in a portfolio? It means to hold assets that aren't correlated to one another. This allows you to narrow your range of returns while not decreasing your average return. This is paramount in retirement, especially when you're taking income. Holding 200 different stocks does not mean you're diversified, and holding 30 different mutual funds does not mean you're diversified. To find out how diversified your portfolio is, give us a call at 512-265-5000 and talk to one of our advisors about a free, no-obligation portfolio analysis.
Do you have questions about the diversity of your retirement savings? We have answers. Give us a call right now at 512-265-5000 to talk to our retirement strategy team. Again, that's 512-265-5000. It's free to talk and we can help. 512-265-5000.
Welcome back. In our last segment, we talked about how this portfolio efficiency ratio, it showed us we had two different ratios, and the higher ratio, well, you ended up with a lot more money even with the same average rate of return when you're trying to grow a portfolio. One portfolio grew from 1 million to 1.8 million, the other from a million to 2.3, $500,000 more because it was just more efficient. Well, if it made a difference when we were just growing the portfolio, the next question is, what kind of impact does portfolio efficiency ratios have when you are taking money out of a portfolio? So let's imagine, go back to our little scenario, you've got $1 million January 1st, 2000. But in this scenario, we're going to imagine that you've retired. That's your first day of retirement. And you decide you're going to start taking some income. You've got $1 million, you say, I'm going to take 50 grand a year, which at the time, quite frankly, was not a lot of money. I mean, in comparison to the $1 million. So off you go. You start taking $1 million a year. Now, I hope you take a look at what's happening here, because if you're paying attention, remember that was the dot-com crash, markets started dropping. And just 3 years into your retirement, look at this, your $1 million is down to 500 grand. 3 years in, half your money gone. Now, I don't know about you, and by the way, if you remember, this is the Vanguard S&P 500 approach. This is the stock market. This is the one with the PER of 0.29. But here's the thing, I don't know about you, but how many people can lose half of their money in the first 3 years of retirement and keep going on that plan? Let's be honest, they don't. If that were you, if you lost half your money 3 years in, you'd probably make changes, so would anyone. But let's pretend you were a big believer in this and you just kept the course. You stayed the course. And you started to see it come back a little bit, but then, 2008 hit. Now we're down to $300 and some thousand. Oh, and then we had a big bull run, so it went up a bit, but here we are. It's 2015. You're down to $363,000. Now, I want to share something with you. When my dad retired, what did he say to me? He said, Mike, protect my principal. Give me some income. And if you can, grow it a little bit. If I had put my dad in that portfolio, how well would I have done? Not so good, would I? Did we protect our portfolio or protect our principal there? I don't think so. Did we get some income? Yeah, we got income. Did we grow it? No, we shrunk it. Not a great scenario. Now, let's turn it over. Let's look at the other approach, the one with a 0.91 PER. And by the way, what we're learning here is you want to be as close to 1 on your PER as you can get. That's what we're learning. But let's look at this other portfolio. Notice, start with $1 million. Same average rate of return. Well, 5.66 versus 5.67. Not really wanting to split hairs there. But at the end of the day, what are we seeing? Look at this. We started with $1 million. We took $50,000 out every single year. At the end of the day, we've got 1.17 million. We have almost 1.2 million. So how did we do there? Did we protect the principal? Sure did. Did we take income? Yep, got that. Did we grow it a little bit? Yeah, we grew it some, not a lot, but some. Now, I would share with you that internally in the portfolios we build for our clients, that's pretty good. We wouldn't say it's great yet. We'd say there's still work to do on it. But I think that this simple illustration does a great job in highlighting the differences between two portfolios that average the exact same rate of return, but they have different efficiency ratios. And the portfolio that is more efficient, the one that does a better job at getting returns for the risk you take, it doesn't matter if you're growing your portfolio or if you're taking money out. In either case, you end up with significantly more money.
Have you called us yet to meet with our team? Let us help you with your retirement planning. Today is a great day to take the first step. Call us now at 512-265-5000.
Essential financial strategies for a comfortable retirement. Join the Centennial Wealth Advisory team for an informative and exciting presentation with complimentary gourmet dinner and learn how to protect your assets from market volatility, how to find growth and security in today's volatile market, how to prevent outliving your money, how decisions in Washington, D.C. are affecting your retirement, how to safeguard your assets from unnecessary taxation, the 4 ways to make sure your advisor is giving you expert advice, and much more. Choose the date and location that works best for you. Tuesday, May 3rd or Thursday, May 5th at Cafe Blue in the Hill Country Galleria. Tuesday, May 24th or Thursday, May 26th at Gumbo's North in Georgetown. Tuesday, June 14th or Thursday, June 16th at Trulux in the Arboretum. Presentations start at 6:30 p.m. and are free to attend with a complimentary gourmet dinner to follow. But seating is limited and fills quickly. Call 512-265-5000 or visit send-wealth.com/events to reserve your seats today. There is no cost and no obligation. Don't miss this important presentation, Essential Financial Strategies for a Comfortable Retirement. Call 512-265-5000 today.
In this week in Math and Money, we are going to look at something called a bell curve, named because, well, it looks kind of like a bell. For those of you who are statisticians or engineers, maybe you may have seen something like this in the past, but I found that most people, they don't really know what this is and why it matters. You see, this type of curve, this is a mathematical construct that is really, really important when it comes to your retirement planning. How the numbers work, as we're about to see, are very important. So let me start with what we normally see when someone comes to our office. So let's imagine that you decide, you call up the phone, you come in the office, and you visit with us and you have us analyze your portfolio. We plug your portfolio into Morningstar, say, all right, let's see, what do you have? Oftentimes it looks something like this. First, this red center line, that represents your average rate of return. Oftentimes, your expected average return is something around the range of 6 to 7% per year. That's what you would expect to earn over maybe a 10-year period. So over the next 10 years, you might have 6, 7% a year, something like that. The edges, or the tails they're called, represent what you might earn in a really good year versus a really bad year. You see, here's what we know. Over the next 10 years, you're not going to earn 6 to 7% every single year, are you? You're going to have some years that are better, you're going to have some years that are worse. And typically, when someone comes into the office, The best that they might do over a 10-year period, the very best year, might be plus 45%. And you know what everybody says to us? Ha! Right, like that's ever going to happen. Meanwhile, on the worst year that they might encourage, or the worst year, if we analyze your portfolio might look like this. Average 6, 7, 45 in the best year. What might your worst year look like? Well, the worst year might be minus 35%. And then if I asked you, well, over the last 10 years, do you ever remember losing 35% in a single year? You're probably going to say, oh yeah, I remember that. That was 2008. I would then ask, do you ever remember, did you make 45% in a single year over the last 10 years? You'll say, I don't remember ever doing that. Yeah, what's interesting is it probably happened in 2009. So if you kept your portfolio the same way. It's interesting. We remember the really bad years, but we don't remember the really good years, do we? Now, I want to compare that. I need another color here. I want to compare that to a portfolio that we typically run in our office for our clients. Now, our clients would typically get the same 6 to 7% average. In other words, it's the same average. But what we do with the way we manage money is we're able to shrink the returns. We shrink it. So instead of plus 45 in the best year, minus 35 in the worst year, our portfolios might look like this. Maybe plus 18 in the best years, but maybe minus 5 in the worst. In other words, it's a much skinnier target. And you know, another way to think about this is the following. Let's say you're trying to target a 6 to 7% average. And I want you to think about, imagine if you had an oscillator going back and forth, and the edges were like this. And you've got a dart, and you're trying to throw it and hit the oscillator, and it's going back and forth from here to here. Now in the middle, you've got your middle target, but it's just bouncing, bang, 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 bang. Now, think about how hard that would be. Now compare that to what if it were only this far apart? So it's going boom, 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 boom like that. And now you're trying to hit that target. I mean, that's a lot easier target, hitting this target, than it is when it's bouncing from here to here. Same thing's going on here. With our portfolios, it's a nice small target. But with most portfolios that people have, it looks like this. Again, this is one of the reasons that you might want to come in and visit. You want to make sure you've got the right bell curve.